but what do the Zenzu want?
That's
If
what
we
we are going to find out if they can communicate with us.
And this is the point where some of them who have been eagerly trying to follow your communication um, the simply say, all right, that's enough, we have to show them, and you can go into the closed off portions of the laboratory where the psychonauts are actually being uh, surgically adapted for their functions.
wow,
It's a and it, this is a we have 4 active psychonauts on station right now at their facility.
oh,
Now we are refining the process, and these volunteer subjects are the ones, who that we are trying to refine this process. As it currently stands, the current psychonauts probably aren't going to last, another. They use a time unit you're not familiar with, but clearly the psychonauts are, not long for this world. The procedure was, terminal, and they're trying to work with this in a more to make it less, fatal, basically. So you are looking at Senzu, who are, very borged out, right, with all sorts of attachments, and the main thing is that they're basically being infused with chemical substances. I mean, there's sort of a dosing of their brain, which is going to rewire their neurology, and then that's electronically monitored, and their ability to transmit it back up the the electronics is their big ability. Um, so the individual who is currently being altered, looks up as you enter this portion of the laboratory, looks up and kind of seems to recognize uh, that there are people entering, and Vicky says, but this subject, I mean, is it's not working out. I mean, there's and the are those strange readings still coming out? And the technician is still gibberish, doctor. And that's when the subject hits you both with, hello, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? In a medium that none of the other senzu can perceive, but you can.
or I can hear you.
Hello.
This does not look sustainable, and I'm looking around the room. Like, this is
Isn't this what it needs for you to understand?
The person is saying, I don't have a name. My name is gone.
ooh,
I can't introduce myself to you. Can you see me? And the impact of their reality, the impact of what it's like to be this person, is just like, oh, it almost discorporates you in its intensity.
yeah, they've gone too far, a little too quickly. This is this is the Senzu drinking from the fire hose.
Mhm.
They it's too much. It's too much for a sentient to have at any one time without.
And this is Divid
Perhaps
who's
open up.
saying this.
What's that?
This is Divid who's saying this.
Well, all at once. This is, it's
You're like, I've been seeking this. Oh my God.
yeah. This is, well, without the consensual reality,
Right.
if it's just one person, but
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
all together
Mhm.
we can shoulder it. But this right here, this is too much. This is not Well, this is not what my working career was for. Was to make a single
Mhm.
monad of a
Mhm.
being, a single being. I would like us all to be there, to not necessarily lose ourselves, but to be able to communicate and to exist on a much higher level.
At this point,
This
Vicky is
is
saying, "What are you doing? What are you saying? Are you perceiving something? Can you give us any information from the subject?"
oh, they're definitely there, and they definitely exist. Um, Now, is there only one person in this room, or are they just a group of psychonauts in here, and we're speaking to one of them?
You're speaking to one of them, but the others currently are very, very minimally. Uh, uh, they're very minimally intervened upon. Right. This is the one that. Again, remember there are 4 psychonauts who are not in this building. They are off in the corner of the map, on the far, far, far left-hand side of the map, and they are stationed as weapons, or were. So these are the sort of more experimental subjects of more careful refinement, and this is the one that had currently volunteered for the most invasive procedures. Um, so while you two are struggling with the insights of Aldous Huxley, and I'm
Right.
picking up on what one of you said. What if all what Jerry said about what if all the stimulus were removed, right? And as Aldous
Right.
Huxley said, if the doors of perception were closed, we would experience what truly is as infinite. Now, this may be utter babble because he was an enthusiastic partaker of hallucinogens himself, but it
Mhm.
did give the name to the famous rock and roll band.
Like it. Yeah, that's where we're at right now,
Yeah.
man. We are.
Mm-hmm. So I'll leave you two to
You
face the infinite for a second, um, as experienced by this person who is, I don't know if desperate is the word, but the need to connect. They are alone. They're alone, right? They've been receiving nothing back
Yeah,
until
that's the
just now.
antithesis of Divitt's work.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to
Mm-hmm.
bring everyone together, as opposed to
Well, you've got an opportunity for togetherness now that is pretty intense. So
right.
let's hop over to Dukin. We've been leaving you out of things for a bit.
It's all right. It's been very interesting. So yeah, I'm just I want to help. I want to help Kazi.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Here,
would you like to begin?
well, she says the sacred, the sacred. God, what would she call it? Mm. Yeah, I mean, well, the sacred fluids, vouchsafed to us by Monod, dangerous in their intensity, but properly and doctrinally applied, keep us. They aid us. The sacred fluid aids us against the torments, the tortures, and the attacks of the unholy. Right? It keeps us. But is it possible that you would alter it? Is what Vuv gives us the holy benefit that we have been taught, or that we believe? Would we not be traumatized without it? Would we not be shattered mentally by the travails, the torments of the world we live in?
You would definitely question things. You would question authority. You would question yourselves. You would be very vulnerable. You would put your mind into a state of just vulnerability, but it would be yours. Or you could have what he gives you, which is this drug that feels nice, and it puts you into a relaxed state, and it is reassuring. It's a reassuring feeling that he provides for you. And
I want us to have that peace, that which is a core of our strength. It is the core of our strength, is not to be shattered and broken by the world around us. But I want it to
Then-
be ours, Dukan. Can you help with that?
yes,
Let us begin. She says, return, or in a way that actually activates speakers and things, or transmitters. And sure enough, people start to gather. And she says, let it flow, and all down all these tubes in the statues, or the religious icons and stuff, all these tubes, the drug starts flowing down, and so you realize that you are actually in this huge dispensing center.
hmm
And that in many ways the religion has been kind of a pharmacological control technique.
right?
So now she says, what shall we do? And some of the other people are confused, and she says, now the most holy rite, what we have never performed, what we have spoken of but never done. And she turns to you and says, it would be enough to cease all of our bodily functions in the name of peace and strength forever. That is what we have been taught. She says to you, and it would be for all the Senzu. That would be the right for all the Senzu, all of us, to lose our bodily selves with a massive amount of the holy and sacred fluid. But she says, but you have made me question this. How can we make this truly a holy rite and not, as I now fear, ultimate defeat? Is that what we have been taught? We have been taught that the most holy rite that we could perform would result in our extermination.
Yes.
Let's
But-
make this right. Let's make it good. Let's do this right then, Dukan. Help us.
I will help you. What is it? What core values? You must say them. You must use your words. And I will do my best to make your words their reality, and not this drug, and not the thought of your demise. Not to say that once we let go of our physical forms, that sometimes we don't achieve something completely different. But this is not the way for you in your religion. I would say that you grasp all the things that you think are important, that give you your moral compass, that give you your sense of self and connectivity to one another. What is important? Use your words and speak them now, and I will try to do my best to make sure that they are true and understood.
Ooh. Ugh. Okay,
Without the
everybody.
drug.
Shall the opening of the two Mercaps minds to this psychonaut and the attempt to turn mass opiate suicide into a rite of self-awakening. Should we subject this to the dice now?
Yeah, no, exactly. Let's do it.
Okay. I must say that you are all in an optimal circumstance. This is 3 dice for everybody. I mean, this is, if we are talking about the kinds of concepts that you've all expressed, then this is what, you know, you are optimally situated to do this.
Well, yeah, this is a tricky one.
This is very tricky.
Like I'm of 2 minds here. Like one is to neuter them psychically, because essentially they've created weapons of mass destruction by having these super powerful beings, and the other one is to maybe just give them a switch that they can choose and then run for my shelter and hope that they choose properly.
Well, I mean, basically you're faced with the idea of sharing the Mercaps, sharing the Mercaps power with some other group.
That's true. And let's see, is Professor Divid that much of like kind of an arcanist to do that? Is it knowledge for knowledge's sake? Does he trust in the
ethics? I mean, you guys do have a hideous advantage over other species. Are you willing to give that up in the sense of your privilege?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give them what I would like to do is try to, with my xenopharma ability, to figure out a workaround so that they do not lose themselves, so that this person that we're talking to can turn that off.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you want to go out into the void? I can, with the proper like meditation and all this stuff, or I can be present here. So that is what I'd like to give to them, and whatever they decide to do with it. To
achieve this,
can
I can see, but to achieve this, I think you actually will have to put yourself into a state where you yourself have turned it off.
Right. Yes.
Which is very difficult for you to comprehend. Right. But the contact with this psychonaut, though, is a way for you to understand what you just described verbally before, which is, wait a minute, how do you function without this constant, impact on other people's minds and their impact upon yours? What would reality be then?
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to have to experience.
That's right. Nurin, I'm going in. That's right. But I take off my little Mercap hat.
Yeah.
Take off my little Mercap jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to reach into the reality, or actually allow their reality into me.
Right.
And consume myself into this greater whole, or be consumed by it.
All right.
Subsumed by it.
Mm-hmm.